Yeah, take my mind and take my pain like an empty bottle takes the rain. Beautiful lyrics. So I've had the opportunity the last few months, sometimes more than I wanted to really think about life and our lives and the days of our lives like sands through the hourglass. So are the days of our life. And, the years that accumulate and the experiences that accumulate and the things that we go through, the pain that we suffer, like the song said, the sins that we think we commit, things from our past, our families of origin, all the things that we gather up into what we call our lives and try to make sense of it. And there have been a few friends that have passed in the last number of months, and I think about their legacy and how they affected my life and how they brought together me and some others in my life that are now fast friends of mine and people that I value and treasure, relationships that are life affirming for me, and an imprint that they have left on my experience in this lifetime. One of the things that I have realized is that as we live, as we accumulate these experiences and people and relationships and things that we go through, that there is an overriding or an umbrella of a theme about our lives that I think that has a string, and everything is related. Everything is a part of that string, and everything is important to that string that is us. And that string, and each of us is a string, and we are all interwoven into this tapestry that is life, and that is humanity, and is this huge ball of experience that we call life on earth right now. And I do believe that there are no mistakes, that the things that we go through, that the experiences that we accumulate are all for our good, whether they feel good in the moment or not. Whether they feel good or not. And I know that there are so many things that I've been through that did not feel good. In fact, they were heart-wrenching and dark. And, in my younger years, I couldn't make sense of them or sense of myself within that experience. And what is all this for? And why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? And I think the benefit of aging, sometimes if we are paying attention and if we are open, that we realize that there is a place for everything that has happened. That there is a place for everything. And that we are led to the things which can lead us ultimately to our healing and to an experience of life that is magnificent, if we will let those things be integrated into our fabric of life. So often, when there are painful experiences, I think we want to compartmentalize them and put them someplace and let them live there and stay there and maybe hide them someplace so that we don't have to see them or deal with them. And we just want to take it and make it something other than, we want to take it out of our life and keep it separate because we don't know what to do with it. And we don't know what it means to everything else. In fact, we would rather it not mean anything to our lives because it was painful. And maybe we do that with people who have hurt us. I know that there are people that I've separated from and stopped a relationship, or we're still in a relationship, but emotionally I have separated from them, and I want them to be a part of something other than me. Something other than me. And yet we can't separate ourselves from our experiences because they become a part of who and what we are. Who and what we are. I've been listening to a book on Audible, When the Body Says No. And it's about our bodies carrying our trauma and our pain and some of the things that can happen. Studies that are done now, people who have ALS, and there are strings, there are themes that are common amongst people who have ALS and things that have happened in their lives. Things that are very, very, the things that are, it's uncanny how many people have had similar experiences and feelings and trauma in their lives, and they ended up with ALS or autoimmune diseases, things like that. That the body pays attention, the body holds everything. And that it used to be the mind-body experience with a dash between mind and body, and now in this book they're talking about mind and body as one thing. It is not separate, and we can't separate it because it is all one thing. There's no mind without body, no body without mind. They're the same thing. The same thing. And so as much as we want some things to be separate from us, people to be separate from us, experiences to be separate from us, we carry them with us. We carry them with us in our very cells, in our tissue, the muscle, our bloodstreams, our nervous systems. Carry, it's a fascinating thing to contemplate. And what's becoming very apparent, there's some things we know and discern, and they become, we understand them rationally. And then when we start to really embrace them, or they become real to us, then we start to feel them, and we know that this thing is true for us. And I think here in this 2023 that we each have a word that has chosen us. And I believe that word is a part of that string that is bringing you forward and is helping you heal whatever has happened from first conception to this moment, this year. And it all seems like maybe it's not important. And you can handle it as if it is not important. Or you can look at it as an opportunity to heal something else. Something else that is not just going to heal you, but prepare you for something else that might be down the line and give you a great gift now and set you up for whatever is coming down your path. Everything is connected. Everything makes sense along the continuum of life. In fact, there are even the studies about generational trauma, generational joy, peace, abundance, whatever is in your generational makeup, that all of that is a thread. So we carry the threads of our ancestors, our parents. And if we have children, we are sending things out through this generation, the next generation, and the generation after. Biologically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I think about my grandson, and I think about what am I leaving him? What will he think? What will he remember about our time together? Well, I plan to be here for a lot longer, at least another 60 years. So in 70, 80 years, what will he remember of our time together, our experience together? What will I leave him physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally? Does he feel my pain sometimes? A friend of mine is her mother is a Holocaust survivor, and she has survivor's guilt. And when she was pregnant with my friend, she was still in deep, deep, deep pain and carrying this survivor's guilt. And my friend has felt this pain all of her life. And she said her mother once went to the doctor, and she said she was worried about my friend, she was worried about her daughter, and she said she cries all the time. She cries all the time. And the doctor said to her, all my Jewish babies cry all the time. All my Jewish babies cry all the time because they're carrying pain. So I think that's one of the reasons why I love this song, Heal. Because we do have to take our past and take the things that we have been through, and it sits in our hands to heal ourselves. I thought of that proverb, physician, heal thyself. We are those physicians. The responsibility for healing is ours. It's ours. At some point, the responsibility is no longer our parents or our spouses or whoever else it is that you think hurt you. It's no longer their responsibility at some point, and it's squarely on our shoulders to heal ourselves. And in unity, we believe that we've been given everything to heal ourselves. And that we are the Christ in pure potentiality. We are the Christ in pure potentiality with all we need to heal ourselves. And that's what those 12 powers are about. Faith, imagination, right judgment and wisdom, life, love, order, power, release and renunciation, strength, understanding, will, and zeal. Each of those were given to us so that we can heal ourselves and heal the world. Those are the tools we have in order to shine our light for our benefit and the benefit of others. In fact, there is no healing anyone else without healing ourselves first. We have to heal ourselves first. And so this word that chose you for 2023, whatever that is, that word is an integral part of your healing at this point in your life. I believe that. I believe that. It's a gift, an opportunity to step into life and to explore a facet of yourself that perhaps you haven't explored before or explored deeply. I'm reading the book Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand. And it's a story of World War II, of the survival of two servicemen. There are three at the beginning of the story. And they end up, their warplane crashes in the ocean, and they end up adrift for 47 days. 47 days. They have run out of rations after about the first few days. No fresh water, no food. The little bit of food they have, one of the three men who ended up in the rafts stole the food in the middle of the night and ate it. And so the three of them are adrift in the ocean. Part of the description, this book is hard to read. It's beautifully written and it's wonderful and it has a lot of background in it, but some of it is very, very hard to read. They end up being captured by the Japanese and they are POWs and they're in one of the most brutal camps in existence at that time. So this is a description of the three men during their 47 days. It remains a mystery why these three young men, veterans of the same training and the same crash, differed so radically in their perceptions of their plight. Maybe the difference was biological. Some men may be wired for optimism, others for doubt. As a toddler, Louis Zamperini, one of the three men, had leapt from a train and watched it bear his family away, yet had remained cheerfully unconcerned about his safety, suggesting that he may have been born an optimist. Perhaps the men's history had given them opposing convictions about their capacity to overcome adversity. Phil and Louis had survived Funafuti and performed uncommonly well over Nauru, and each trusted the other. Quote, "If there was one thing left, he'd have given it to me," unquote, Phil once said of Louis. Mac had never seen combat, didn't know these officers, and was largely an unknown quantity to himself. All he knew about his ability to cope with this crisis was that on the first night, he had panicked and eaten the only food they had. As time passed and starvation loomed, this act took on greater and greater importance, and it may have fed Mac's sense of futility. For Phil, there was another source of strength, one of which even Louis was unaware. According to his family in his quiet, private way, Phil was a deeply religious man, carrying a faith instilled in him by his parents. Quote, "I had told Al several times before to always do his best as he knew how to do it," Phil's father once wrote, "and when things get beyond his skill and ability, to ask the Lord to step in and help out." Phil never spoke of his faith, but as he sang hymns over the ocean, conjuring up a protective God, perhaps rescue felt closer, despair more distant. From earliest childhood, Louis had regarded every limitation placed on him as a challenge to his wits, his resourcefulness, and his determination to rebel. The result had been a mutinous youth. As maddening as his exploits had been for his parents and his town, Louis' success in carrying them off had given him the conviction that he could think his way around any boundary. Now, as he was cast into extremity, despair and death became the focus of his defiance. The same attributes that had made him the boy terror of Torrance, California, were keeping him alive in the greatest struggle of his life. Though all three men faced the same hardship, their differing perceptions of it appeared to be shaping their fates. Louis and Phil's hope displaced their fear, and inspired them to work toward their survival. And each success renewed their physical and emotional vigor. Mac's resignation seemed to paralyze him, and the less he participated in their efforts to survive, the more he slipped. Though he did the least, as the days passed, it was he who faded the most. Louis and Phil's optimism and Mac's hopelessness were becoming self-fulfilling. So we have 3 men on the ocean adrift for 47 days. Two of them are using everything within them to help them survive. They told stories to each other. They sang songs. They kept each other's spirits up. They fought off sharks. So they're in shark-infested waters, and they're in a small raft, and they've got 10-foot, 16-foot, 20-foot sharks going up under the raft trying to turn it over. And when the men were really, really starving, sometimes the sharks were jumping over the raft and trying to push it under the water to get at the men. And there's even a portion of this 47 days where for 3 full days they fought off sharks day and night. For 3 full days. They had 1 oar, and they would punch the sharks when they came up out of the water. Just trying to survive, just trying to survive. And 2 of them end up living. One of them dies, Mac, the one who steals the food in the beginning and who doesn't want to join in on the singing or the conversation, who doesn't know himself, as they describe him, doesn't know who he is, doesn't know his own strengths. Louis, one of the gentlemen, was a terror in his youth. He robbed every store, every house he could break into. And he always got away. Always got away. He never thought that there was anything he couldn't do or get away with. He had a resilience and a strength of mind and a determination that was absolutely uncanny. Later on, he becomes one of the men that they think is going to break the 4-minute mile. He even goes to the Olympics in the 1930s. But it's his training, what he knew about himself, that carried him through this devastating experience. So all the things that happened to him throughout his life, the craziness that he was, the terror he was in his town, helped him to survive 47 days on the open ocean. Phil, the other gentleman who survives mainly, they think, because of his faith. And that he had instilled in him a knowledge that when I can't do it, there is something else bigger than me that will take me through. Three men, same situation, in the same raft, all trying to survive. Mac, the one who does not survive, is the one who fights the least, is the less creative about how do we eat and find food, how do we catch fish, how do we use what's in this raft to help us live. Can you imagine 47 days? I can't contemplate 47 hours on the open sea. 47 minutes, yes. I'd be losing it for the 47 minutes. Amen to that. 47. No food. They eventually catch birds, things like that. They do fish at times. They catch fish with their hands. They fashion a hook out of something they found in the raft. That's why I love these stories about the human spirit and about resilience and the things that are possible. Louis and Phil both lost about half their body weight by the time they were captured. Half their body weight. Eaten away. Because they're starving to death. And yet they kept their spirits high. There's something within them that helped them survive. And their families are tracing back what they were like as little boys that carried them through to this experience and enabled them to get through it. And now I'm reading this portion, now that they're captured and they're in, they fought 47 days, starving on the ocean was hard. Now they're being beaten and demoralized and humiliated, and they're having medical testing done on them. Just excruciating things happening, and they're surviving through it. We all have something within us, something that started within us, something that started way before we got here to this time, that is carrying us through. And every single day you accumulate more and more strength, power, information, something that you know about yourself that's going to help you on the journey. And so I think it's important for us to pay attention to the opportunities that come up that allow us to go further and deeper into healing. It's all connected, all connected. And so I find myself being grateful even for the things that tested me and tested me deeply. Because it's carrying me through now. It will carry me through whatever it is that's going to come hurtling down my path the next 60 plus years. We get to choose how we live. We get to choose our experience of what we go through. We may not be able to choose what we go through. They didn't choose to be on a raft adrift for 47 days. And yet they chose, these three men, each chose differently. How do I survive this? How do I do my best in this situation? How do I live? And what does life mean? Life had to mean something different for them in that situation. We have that same power. And though we may not be asked to survive adrift for 47 days, we will be asked to walk through some things that are going to require everything that is within us. Some of us already have. Some of us are doing it right now. But the onus is upon us to know that we can heal ourselves. That we can be that empty sail that catches the wind. We can be the tide in the ocean that rushes in and rushes out. Be in that ebb and flow of nature. To be in the flow that is spirit. To recognize that we are the wave in the ocean. The ocean that is the all good, that is God. And that we are that expression of the divine. And that means that you have all the power you need to do what is before you. But we got to tune into it. We got to know that that's who we are. And you have to decide, this is how I'm going to live through this. Live as this. You get to decide. So we may not be able to choose the thing that we're in, but you can sure choose how you deal with it and what it means to you and what it's going to say about you 5 months from now, 5 years from now, 5 decades from now. And yes, what it's ultimately going to say to those who come after you, to all those who will have the benefit of your presence. What are you leaving in the world? What are you creating for yourself? You can choose to keep the blinders. You can choose to pretend that it doesn't matter and leave it up to happenstance what goes on, or you can decide in the moment, this is how I'm attacking this. This is how I'm dealing with this. This is how I am going to walk through this. And you may not know what the entire walk looks like, but you know what this next moment's going to look like. And then you figure out the next moment, and you figure out the next moment. And before you know it, you're through another day. You're through another week. You're through another month. I have people all the time tell me, I don't know how I'm going to do this, and yet they're doing it. I don't know how to deal with my grief, and yet they're doing it every single day. But we judge it as if we're failing because it doesn't look pretty. And because we feel like a hot mess sometimes, it's okay. As you're in the process, sometimes it's messy, and sometimes it's hard, and sometimes we're red-eyed and tired. And you're still that divine potential within. And you still have a choice, and you still have all the power that's been given to you by divine right. By divine right. Stop thinking it's going to look pretty. Let it be what it is. Let it be what it is. And walk through life knowing that this is yours, that it is for you. Whatever is before you is for you. For you personally, and for you as a gift, if you will accept it as that. If you will accept it as a gift. We're a choice in every single moment, and I think that is the greatest gift we can have. The greatest gift is choice. We are in control of ourselves. We have dominion over our thoughts, words, and actions. Dominion. It's a strong word, dominion. Claim your power in each moment. And take a look again at that word that has chosen you. Think about it, meditate on it, ask about it. I'll have some reading resources soon so we can research it and talk about it more. You can get into it and really think about what is this? What is this opportunity for me here in 2023? And how can I make this a gift to change my life in ways I never thought possible before? How? Let's take this in a meditation. So Just relax. And I want you to think of the word that chose you for 2023. And if you have not received a word because you weren't here Christmas Eve or the Sunday after, perhaps a word has popped into your mind, something that has already been made known to you. And I want you to ask the universe, God, what is in this for me? What is the gift of this word for my life this year? And just be open to whatever shows up. And whatever it is, just let it be. Relax in it and with it. Expressing gratitude for it ahead of the gift. Ahead of the gift. Fill your heart with gratitude for an opportunity to heal on a deeper level. The opportunity to step into an expanded expression that is you. And even if it feels as if it's outside of the box for you, that's okay. Because you are the Christ in expression. And whatever it is you are called to, you already have everything you need to step fully into that expression. You have access to divine mind. You are one with that divine intelligence. You have access to all that you need, all that you perceive that you need, for you already have what you think you need. You already possess the peace, the love, the clarity, the power, the harmony, unity, wisdom, prosperity, beauty. Whatever it is you are seeking is already residing within you as you, waiting for you to claim it, waiting for you to step forward into it. And to shine and shine brightly as that. To shine and shine brightly as that very thing that you think you are without. And so we say yes and thank you for the gift of deeper expression. We celebrate the fact that we are at choice in each moment and get to choose our experience of life. And we step forward with rock solid faith to build a life that speaks to our hearts. To build a life that will bring us so much joy we can't wrap our arms around it. Overflowing with prosperity, love, wisdom, peace, harmony, unity, freedom, creativity, inexpressible joy is ours. So we say yes and thank you. Yes and thank you to all things good. To all things good. And we commit now in our hearts to shine and shine brightly. To shine and shine brightly for our benefit and as a gift to the world. And so it is, and so it shall be.